In the most obvious way, film has changed my life because it's given me a livelihood as a film professor. I think if I was not a film professor, I would probably be teaching high school English or something similar to that because I always knew I would be a teacher. But when I first started studying film, it became very interested in it, and the study of it really kind of took off as a passion.
My father was owned movie theaters, rented them and ran them. I got to see movies from the time I can't remember when I didn't go to movies. My whole family and I just have my whole family likes film.
So it's always been a part of your life?
Always been a part of my life. My clothes were bought with money made from, the showing of films in theaters. I would go up to, I will tell you this, I would go up to the projectionist booth when I was a little boy and go up and sit with the projectionist because he was working for my father. And I would sit up there, watch him change reels. I would watch him fix when celluloid film would do the cutting and pasting back together, taping it, and putting it back into the machine and showing it. So even that part. The light that was made with that was made with carbon rods, and the heat from that would project the light for it. So I go way back in the 50s for film, yeah. I can't imagine a life without film. At my house, I must have a collection of maybe 200 or 300 films in VHS and DVD, and sometimes both. But I see a film. If it's a good film, I want to sort of have that like you would want a book, the same way you'd have a book, because it's. I like to see them again to get that feeling and rush of what it communicates, the passion and love and scary things, all that. That's done by good filmmakers. I can see them over and over if it's good. If it's bad, never again. But when it's good, it's just like reading a good poem again. You want that same feeling that you had the first time, or that you come to know a film better and better.
Film is the communications medium of the 20th century. Now, of course, we're in the 21st. But it was the emergent art form of that century. Film changed more than simply art or the entertainment business. Film changes politics. Film can change elections. Film can change our perception of history. And it can really revise a culture's understanding of the past. And it creates myths, essentially. Think about our understanding of the American West and how that's been informed by the Western genre, or how our perceptions of a particular conflict or war have been determined through war films and so forth. I think the most important thing is that it is important to have something that interests you enough that you can pursue it for a lifetime.
To appreciate other films, I guess. Once you learn good film, what a good film is, then you crave more of that. But it's the experience you don't get anywhere else. It is like peeping Tom. It is, isn't it not? It's looking at something, the actions of other people, as if they don't know you're there. Whereas in live theater, they know you're there, and that's a great experience. But film is unique in that way. It can be untamed, and it can be very tame, but also untamed, I think.
I would say, in general, European art cinema. I took a class my junior year in college, and the title of the class was simply World Cinema Before TV. I don't even know what that means today. I think it was just some strange heading for a class. But looking back at the syllabus now, it ends up that the professor and I had very similar tastes in movies, and pretty much everything in there was art cinema. And so that was really my real introduction to studying film. So my perception of it was I loved it, right? But it was simply because that guy just had really good taste.
I think I've even mentioned it to you before, but when I saw Fellini's 8.5, it sort of changed my idea of what film could be. It could go deeper than what I had experienced up to that point. I saw it when I was 21, I think, or 20 or 21. And it was like nothing of those movies I was telling you about as a little child or a little boy growing up, going to Disney and seeing American movies. When you saw this was an artist's movie where he expanded the use of technique in film to go to a philosophical place more so than any other I had seen. So I've always been impressed, and I collect Fellini. I go see him whenever. It's a real treat to see him on the big screen. I finally got to do that again after 40 years or so.
I would like to see the 3-hour CGI special effects movie go away. The idea that a film is a 3-hour date experience where one passively watches this movie and then it's over and there's really nothing to think about at all. I would like that entire paradigm thrown out. I'm also tired of films being viewed primarily as storytelling devices. I think first and foremost, film is a visual medium, and a lot of people do not think about visuals when they talk about movies. They think about stories.
It's a narrative form. It tells stories. It's through images. I foretell that words in film are unnecessary, but I like the words, and I like screenplays and well-conceived dialogue.
So I assume Michael Bay is one of your favorite directors?
Yeah, of course, I love him.
Film is a wonderful source of artistic expression to drive action, not just pictures. But film is an art form, just like any art form. It has shape, form, it has its limitations, and when good filmmakers overcome those limitations and do it, they're real true artists as well as any writer or I guess oil, painter or dancer. Actually. You mean as a person?
As a living person, yes, living being.
Just like I would any artist, creative, joyful, sad, all the great experiences that you have with film that you can have with someone. It's like a friend. I go, you sit, the lights go down, you're suddenly transported to a different element. It could be outer space. I mean, these are cliches, but you could be in outer space. You could be in a war zone, and you're not going to get hurt. You're going to go there with the in your imagination, and it frees the imagination. It's the creative effect of that. It widens your experience of your own life very deeply, I think. As deeply as books. I think original movies and good filmmakers are the same as anybody writing a good novel. To me, they can produce. It's collaborative work. It's the cameraman, the sound person, the actors, and all that coming together. But it's still the same effect. It's an artistic effect. It awakens us to who we are as human beings. I really believe that, as much as any other art.